Aloha everyone, Stephanie Dutcher here, bringing you everything that's happening on Maui. So if I could sum up the Maui real estate market in one phrase, it would be lots of inventory, not a lot of buyers, tons of negotiation. So the month of January was extremely slow. It seemed like Christmas bled into New Year's, which bled into all of January. Like everyone was still saying, I'm still trying to wake up from going through all the holidays. But the last week of January, I really noticed a big uptick in buyer activity, which is excellent news. And what I've seen with the buyers is that they are still hesitant and they want a good deal. Now here's the honest truth. If your property is for sale at the moment, you can expect low offers, period, across the board. Vacant land, single family home, condos, expect low offers. Regardless of where you're listed at, expect low offers. A common conversation that I've been having with a lot of sellers in the last month specifically goes something like this. They go, hey Stephanie, I want to list my property. Ideally, I want to make this amount of money on my property. Therefore, I'm thinking we should list it for $25,000 to $50,000 over the price that I ideally want to get. Now, unfortunately, I have bad news of having the conversation of saying, I'm really sorry that you think that your property is worth this much, but we first need to look at the market as a whole to see what real buyers are paying for the property. Gone are the days of saying, I want to get this amount of money for the property and you get it. Those days have been gone for quite some time now, actually. So we need to be listed accordingly to what real buyers have paid for the property. Looking at the competition of the other properties that are on the market can be helpful, but right now we're seeing properties on the market for 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 months or longer. So looking at them does not give us real data on what buyers are actually willing to pay in this market. Having a property listed appropriately and at the right number is most important. If you're listed too high, not only can you expect low offers, you can expect really low offers. But if we're priced more according to what real buyers have been paying for the property, the likelihood of us getting an offer that's so low that we won't even respond to it is not high. It's more likely those buyers are going to be like, oh, okay, I see you're actually listed at a reasonable price, and we have a much greater opportunity of getting closer to that list price. So listing it well from the start is very important. Again, having an idea of what you want to make on the property is great. Just understand that our market has a lot of properties on the market, so there's a lot of competition. There is no amount of marketing magic that we can do to make a buyer, quote, overpay for a property. They want a deal, they're going to come in low. That needs to be the expectation and that needs to be the understanding. I haven't seen that shift yet, and as soon as I see that shift, I will let you know. So for you buyers out there, it's very important. If you are contemplating buying right now, give me a call. I am seeing what buyers are doing. I understand where properties should be priced, what we should be offering at, and a lot of my buyers are getting smoking deals. And then for you sellers out there, super important. Again, you got to listen to your agent. If you're working with another agent, no problem. But if you're working with me specifically, please, we need to talk through what the market is doing, what real people are paying for these properties. And we need to not pay attention to what's currently on the market. Again, helpful to know what your neighbors are trying to sell for. But if they're still on the market, they're priced wrong. So we need to figure out what that pricing is. And that can be a tricky thing to try to figure out in this market. So give me a call. I would love to strategize with you. Now, we're going to shift gears. We're going to talk about Bill 9 because I know a lot of you are tuning in for that. You've been following along and trying to figure out what's up, what's next, what's going on. I'm here to tell you that there's not a lot to update you on. There's not a lot that's changed in the last month. The current things that we're waiting on right now is that the Maui Planning Commission is set to have their first meeting at the end of February 24th is their first meeting to discuss the H3 and H4 zoning creation. Those zonings were recommended via the TIG report to be created so that the Minatoya properties can apply for a zoning change to change from apartment zoning to the new H3, H4 zoning. So it passed the Maui County Council. It's now passed on to the Maui Planning Commission, who again is hearing public testimony first, which is likely to happen over multiple meetings until they set a date for the final meeting to actually talk through any of their recommendations, proposals. Maybe they accept it as is, maybe they reject it outright. After they have that final meeting, which again, we're not sure when that is because they first have to hear public testimony and we're not sure how long that's going to take. Again, the guess is multiple meetings. But after that all takes place, then it gets packaged up and gets sent right back to the Maui County Council, who can then either pick up the recommendations that were made, reject them outright, not listen to them at all. And then after that, I don't really know. I don't really know, but I just know that those are the next steps that we're currently waiting on. The other thing that we're currently waiting on are the 2 lawsuits. So there's 2 lawsuits that have been filed, one by Kaanapali Royal Complex. The other one that was filed is trying to become a class action lawsuit. All of that is still in the preliminary stages. They've started. I don't know much more than that. The prevailing advice has been to hold tight and move forward together as one, because there is power in numbers. So that's the update with Bill 9. If you have questions about that, if you find that you own a property that's on the Manitoia list and you want to talk through what your options could be, what you can do, please give me a call. So I'm Stephanie Dutcher, signing off for now, your resource for everything related to Maui real estate, and I'll talk with you next month. Aloha.